welcome back to my Let's Play of Geneforge, here on my channel Auto Wisdom. In the first episode, we created a character, the Shaper Apprentice Evodius, and we landed on Sucia Island after being attacked. Our craft was attacked by a strange and bizarre-looking, craft with weird, with vast expanses of cloth that did something that I don't know, the craft made it look like maybe wood, we don't even know. Not a typical, boat made out of a dragon. So, we explored this area and got our first magical skill, the fireball spell or firebolt, but now we're proceeding onward. So, here's Sucia Island. The map, the overworld map, is broken up, this is the overworld map, and each area is like a little zone, and so we'll cross over into the second zone. Alright. More water. Hello? Hello? Anyone here? Anyone here? There's no one here. Let's go in this building. You immediately recognized this large building for what it is. It was a shaping hall. You knew that there must be one of them on this island somewhere. Here, the shapers on this island did their work, using magic and force of will to make creations, both established and experimental designs. If there was a cataclysm, though, it didn't take place here. This building is undamaged. To the side, you can see energizing pools. Holes in the ceiling allow light to shine on them. Remarkably, despite their years of neglect, they've survived. The goo inside the pool is a semi-living, plant-like form, capable of drawing energy from the air and the sun. If you stand near a pool, you'll be able to replenish your health or essence, depending on which pool you use. In the corner of the hall, you can see two glowing glass canisters. They wait there, ready to give you power. And these books will teach us about various aspects of the game. This is a healing pool. Heals us with each time it ticks, it heals us. And this is an essence pool, and it restores our magical energy and our essence. Very, very useful right here. Essence. The secrets of essence. The essence is represented by the blue bar under your character's graphic in the roster in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You use essence to make creations and cast some of the more powerful healing spells, like healing. Powerful spells, like healing. When you spend essence to cast spells, you gain it back by either returning to town or by approaching an essence pool, like the one nearby. However, making creations reduces the maximum amount of essence you can have. If you have a total of 30 essence, for example, and you make one Fiora, which costs 10 essence, then your new maximum is 20, by the power of basic subtraction. You can't get the other 10 back until the Fiora dies or you absorb it. Now, Fiora is a basic type of creation. We'll see him very soon. It is up to you whether you make a lot of weak creations, a few strong creations, save your essence for spells, or a mixture of the three. Geneforge makes all of these options available. Alright. We're at full essence power right now, so it doesn't really matter. Let's read this book. Creations for the beginning shaper. To survive on Sucia Island, you will probably need to make creations to fight for you, especially if you are playing a shaper. Yeah, that's very true. They are our weapon. We don't really. Oh yeah, we'll be able to fight ourselves, but our main weapon is our creations, as opposed to the agent or guardian. When you use the canister on the left, you will learn to create a Fiora, a small fire-breathing lizard. To make a Fiora, you will need at least one level of fire shaping skill. If you don't have this and you want to make a Fiora, you will need to train this skill when you gain a level. To make a creation, press the creation button on the lower left. It has a worm on it. You will then spend some of your essence to create a Fiora and improve its skills. The more essence you spend on one Fiora's skills, the less you will have left to create more of them. Yeah, that's true though. I'll show you that in a moment. You can create up to 7 servants. You can't get the essence you spend back until the creation dies or you reabsorb it. Finally, it's a good idea to buy at least 2 levels of intelligence for your creations. If you do, you'll be able to control them in combat. Otherwise, they will act on their own, and they may not always do what you want. If you started out as an agent, you might not have the ability to make a Fiora. To get it, select Improve Abilities in the inventory area and buy 1 level of Fire Shaping skill. See, both Guardians and Shapers start with the ability with some rank of Fire and Battle Shaping, I think, whereas agents don't. Everything they have is focused on magic. Let's take a look at these. Oh, another dagger. Let's take the dagger. What's over here? Ah, healing pod. Nice. And then let's touch the mutagen. When you open the canister, the agents begin to act upon you. You feel yourself changing, and you get heal. So Evodius now has the ability to heal magic. And now Evodius increases Create Fiora by 1. So now that's good. Well, it's more or less good, but hopefully we're not harming ourselves in any way. I mean, what could possibly be the cost of instant power, right? So here's the little worm button, press that, and creating a creature. So we're going to choose a Fiora. A Fiora is a small, fierce lizard creature. It has sharp teeth and large glands in its throat that give it the ability to spit globules of flaming saliva. Fioras have a good mix of melee and missile ability. They're very useful for the beginning of the game. So here's it has its various stats just like we do, and you can increase it in any amount. But as they were saying, we need to make sure we increase its intelligence, and that costs more essence. So we have a total of 16 essence right now. Evodius is not very powerful. And this is going to cost us 8 plus 3, 11. So we're going to only have 5 essence left, which is fine. So, and each of the skills does something different. The strength increases how much damage it does with its attacks, and it gives all attacks a damage bonus. Higher strength also helps creatures resist stunning. And dexterity helps it act sooner in combat and evade blows and land blows of its own, although I'm not entirely certain that the landing its own blows is correct. But it's definite. I'm not entirely sure. There's some sort of ambiguity with this. But anyways, very good for acting sooner and dodging, and useful for missile-based creations like the Fiora. Intelligence helps the creature resist mental attacks and keep it from fleeing combat. If you buy 2 levels of this, you can control the creature in combat. Otherwise, it will act on its own. You may not like what it does. Yeah, because basically it's just otherwise it's a mutant animal, and that's it. But if you give it a little bit more extra intelligence, then it will do what you say, which is cool. Endurance affects how much health the creature has and how well it resists poison and similar attacks. Extremely useful for any creature type. But we're just going to do this. That's enough. Abra freaking cadabra. Alright. By the power of triangles. Look at that. There he is. There he is. Our little Fiora. The more levels you have in, like, the relevant shaping skill, this is a fire creation. And so, the relative, the knowledge of your, basically, how much of a bonus it gets in level-wise when you create it is based on how much skill you have in the relevant shaping tree, and then how much skill you have in the relevant or particular creation. So, yeah, there we are. So we can rename this guy. His name right now is just Fiora, but I kind of want to see what he does. I haven't thought of a name for him yet, so we'll think of one as we go along. I don't know how he's going to act yet, so sort of just walking along with us. I'd feel a lot better now. Although, I wonder, the road comes to a dead end here. A thick and impassable stand of trees has completely overgrown it. Well, that's a pain. Abandoned islands all covered with freaking overgrown roadblock obstructions. What's next? Let's go down here. Maybe this will take us. where we need to go. Although we have no idea where we need to go, since when you don't know where you're going, one way is as good as the other. You find a sign that the evacuation of this island was not completely orderly. There's a body here. It's barely more than a skeleton. It's been here for a long time. Based on its garments, you think it was Shaper. The Shapers here made their supplies to last. It looks like some of the stuff on the corpse is still usable. Now, these sort of corpses are something we need to get used to. Corpses are everywhere in Geneforge. Another robe, we'll just take it. Tunic, yeah, sure, why not? Another dagger. And healing spores. Now, healing spores are basically like healing pods, except that they affect everybody in your party. They're very, very useful, especially if you are like a Shaper and have a lot of creations. You can heal your whole party in one useful, one fell swoop. Soon you will have to fight your first battles. Let's see. Okay, there it is. There are several rogue Fioras ahead. Oh wow, thanks for the heads up. The best tactic to defeat them depends on what sort of character you've picked. That's correct. Well, apparently I can sense them ahead of me. You know, well, I don't know. That doesn't make sense at all. We're not even trained. We've just been tested. We did it. It kind of like we did the Shaper ASVAB, you know, like you do when you're in high school. If you get wounded or your Fiora dies, you can rejuvenate yourself with the pools in the building to the west. Yeah, we can always return there. Finally, if you have not saved yet, you should do so now. Hit the escape button to bring up the file menu and save the game. Yeah, you can also just click on this icon right here. Bring up this menu and let's save game. And oh, right here, sorry. This is another game I've been playing. I mean, another Evodius. Oh, Etzel and Evodius. I seem to be favoring E names on this game for some reason. Alright, cool. Let's go. Tally-ho! There's a Fiora standing in the path ahead. It's a very familiar sort of creation. Shapers have made them for centuries to serve as bodyguards, watchdogs, and even pets. And you've been around hundreds of them. So we're like, here boy, here boy! This one, however, is different from any Fioras you have ever seen. It doesn't have the usual expression of servility and obedience. It doesn't look at you as a master, but as food. You've heard tales of creations that have turned on their creators and gone rogue, but it almost never actually happens. If it did, the rogue creation would be instantly destroyed. This Fiora has definitely shed any Shaper control. It bares its teeth at you, seemingly daring you to step forward. Bad dog, lizard thing. I can't believe this. There it is, Rogue Fiora. Has 17 hit points. Alright, well, we'll bring our Fiora up. And attack! Oh, well, good job. Let's try our... See, this is your physical attack, and this is your magical attack. We'll try our javelins. Oh, pop! Haha, how's that rogue life working for you there, pal? Bad dog. Naughty. Ooh, healing pod. Creations going rogue. What next? I'm sure that was just a one-off. Oh, there's another orc somewhere. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Oh, there's another one. It might not have been a one-off. I'm sure this is still the other one. I love the sound the Fioras make when they growl and shoot fire. Ooh, popping. Ah! There's another one. We are almost flanked. Good job there, doofus. Pop. Oh, man. 75 experience for each one of these. Yeah, we're really low level. These Fioras are giving us awesome experience. And Fioras are totally weak. I mean, there's some boosted up forms of them later on. In various ways. Oh, let's see what's over here. Some money, 5 coins. Notes on combat. Each round, your character gets a base of 8 action points. Moving and doing actions uses them up. Using an item costs 3 action points and attacking costs 5. Casting spells too. If you try to attack and you don't have 5 action points, your turn ends. Clicking on a character also ends that character's turn. Speed spells and some items increase your action points. Carrying too much weight, being stunned, or being slowed takes away action points. The order by which characters act in combat is determined by their speed. The more dexterity and quick action skill the character has, the faster it will act. Very useful tip. To end a character's turn prematurely, click on the character or hit the spacebar. Alright, cool. Yeah, you have to be careful not to prematurely end your turn if you're not done, actually. That can be kind of annoying. You're like, no, I wasn't done! Ah! Especially with the cursor that's, because let's say right here, see, look right here, it's his turn. If this little clock, if I click it, see, it's just skipped his turn. It's fine, sometimes it's useful. Uh-oh, there he is. Another Fiora. Ooh, good hit. And down with you. Pop. Let's make sure there's no one over there. Anything in here? This was a storage warehouse. Well, it still is, but now instead of housing useful supplies, it holds moldering trash. The sacks that kneel in the corner, for example, have not been treated well by their years here. On the counter to the west, however, you see something which looks very useful. There are several thorn batons, one of which looks like it's still alive. Thorn batons are one of the Shaper's most ingenious creations. They are a mix of living and inert matter, plants with a touch of animal, around a frame of metal, capable of firing a small, sharp projectile at a high velocity. When unused, they go into hibernation and can live for a long time. Most of the batons abandoned in this room have died, but one managed to survive. I wonder what did it eat? Did it eat the other batons? Or did it eat some of this garbage? I don't know. Let's see. Thorn baton. Cool. So, thorn batons are basically like, they're basically like rifles. They're like guns. But they're alive, as it said. There's like a little metal frame, wood and metal frame, or whatnot, and with a living creature that grows in it, and you squeeze its tail or something like that, and it will spit the thorns. It's been grown and mutated specifically to be used as a weapon. Okay, let's see. There's 2 Fioras here. We have to be careful. They're very fragile, but so are we. Evodia's here. Oh no! We missed! Let's have you attack him. And you come here and kill that guy. Oh, you didn't kill him! Have you attack here. Oh, you missed! Down you go. Oh, come on, dude. Pop. Alright. Let's heal. So, heal. Alright. I'm playing with some better headphones now, and I'm hearing, like, more of the sound effects than I ever heard before. There's a tiny bit of a bass note to that when you use the heal spell, which I never noticed before. Oh, let's see what this is. This is an obelisk. To read a sign or obelisk, click on it. The worn writing on the obelisk is still legible. Quarantine Hall. All arrivals and departures must meet with servant mind before proceeding. Quarantine halls are generally placed between the docks and the main research facilities. These ruins must go on for quite a ways. Alright. Another hall. Here is. This was the quarantine waiting hall. People wishing to enter or leave Sucia Island through this port waited here to be questioned and inspected by the servant mind. And sure enough, the mind is still here, resting to the north. You marvel at the skill of the Shapers, who made these remarkable creatures. Their careful construction and ability to hibernate give them remarkable lifespans, and it is still alive. A servant mind is a very specialized and useful sort of creature. Once grown, it never moves again. It spends its life in a stone crib made to fit it. Once there, it spends its entire life thinking, remembering, analyzing, and advising the Shapers. As you approach, you can see the creature struggle to rouse itself from its slumber. It seems like it is eager for company after its years here. To converse with the servant mind or anyone else, click on it. So there it is. See, it's just like a little bulbous creature with a big, huge freaking head, tiny, worthless arms, and a very, very good brain. You carefully approach the servant mind, unsure of how its time alone in these ruins have affected its faculties. Fortunately, its eyes are clear and bright, and its body appears whole. It has the massive skull, characteristic of these strange creatures. Welcome, Shaper. I am Mind Tavit, it says, reflexively reading from an internal script centuries old. Do you wish to pass through quarantine? Huh. So what should we ask? What happened to this island? Why was it barred? I'm sorry, Shaper. I am limited in the scope of my knowledge. When I was left here, I was given no further information or instructions. Well, how long ago were you abandoned? I do not know. I have spent all that time in hibernation. The decay in my internal organs indicates that the time was well over a century. I'm sorry I cannot be more precise. Jeez. It's a long time to be in hibernation. Well, how long has it been since someone came through here? You are the first since I was abandoned. Yikes. Well, why was Sucia Island abandoned? I do not know. I know a little of its purpose, but nothing of why I was left here for so long. Well, what was the purpose of this island? Research. Not the most useful answer you could have hoped for. Very vague, in fact. I'm eager to assist you further, Shaper. Do you wish to pass through quarantine? That is what it was asked before. This mind must have very limited programming. Let's see. Let's ask if he's okay. Are you alright? You've been here for a long time. I'm functioning properly. I can still do what I was made to do. And you don't mind waiting here so long? I am functioning properly. I can still do what I was made to do. I was not made to have any other thoughts. Oh man, that's something we're going to see from time to time in the Geneforge series. Is you ask questions that certain, somewhat intelligent. This one's intelligent enough. It's not a brilliant servant mind, but it's intelligent. But there's other creatures that are barely intelligent, but enough, and you ask them questions, they're like, and their answers are somewhat sad. Okay, let's see. Why do I have to pass through? What do I have to do to pass through quarantine? Allow me to inspect you carefully. If I judge that you have no threatening infections or concealed rogue creations, I will unseal the door to the north so that you may pass. Well, then, please allow me to pass through quarantine. The creature looks at you carefully. It makes a low, soft humming noise. You don't feel anything, but you suspect some sort of magical augmentation is allowing the creature to analyze you in minute detail. Finally, the noise stops. Tavit says, I see no reason to impede your process further. The exit door will open at your approach. Alright, well, that's all I need. Thank you, Shaper. I will rest and conserve my energy now. Alright, well, that's Mind Tavit. The first creature, well, the first intelligent creature we met here on Sucia Island. He's been asleep the entire time. It's just a picture. It's such a shiny, magic-looking picture. I always want to pick them up. And in later games, that model is used for certain valuable items. Boots! And wooden shields. Let's equip the boots. Under your boots. Good. Those will give us some more armor. And more thorns. When we run out of batons, or not batons, javelins, we can use that. The thorn baton. Let's see what it has to say here. People wishing to pass through quarantine originally signed in here before waiting for inspection. None of their names are legible anymore, and the pages crumble at your touch. Yeah, it's really old. We know it's at least over 100 years, if not more so. Alright, here's the door, and we go through. These Shaper statues are kind of cool. On this side of the quarantine hall, we see another flock of orcs. You can see another flock of orcs. This group, however, is not alone. It is watched over by a servile. Serviles are one of the greatest Shaper creations. They are the most common and valued servants of your people. Intelligent, hardy, obedient, and featuring hands with opposable thumbs, and are also easily controlled. If there are serviles here, this island must be nowhere as savage and uncontrolled as you'd feared. Serviles are weak and easily cowed creatures. If there were any real threat here, they would have been wiped out quickly. Your emergence from this hall is clearly the last thing this servile expected. He looks terrified at first, and then curious. He leaves his flock behind to come and speak with you. He probably wants fresh orders. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he wants since, it's been 100, 200 years. Who knows? But, that's all we have ever known. Serviles do, probably. Timo. This servile moves very close to you and inspects you carefully. It seems to be the same design of creation with which you're completely familiar. Same hunched posture, number of limbs, and so on. And it looks very surprised to see you. However, it doesn't have the attitude of immediate obedience you've come to expect. It seems more curious than anything. And after a few awkward seconds of staring, it speaks. I don't think I'm mad. It's a Shaper. A Shaper has come at last. Oh, it's been years since anyone has come through that door. A Shaper has come. Oh, it's so wonderful. But where are my manners? I am Timo. I am a shepherd. I graze my orcs here because no one comes here. Oh, I must go to Vakari. I must tell the people there that a Shaper has come at last. Alright. Maybe that door has not opened. I think that probably that door has never opened because, Mind Tavet has been asleep, and so he hasn't opened it. Tell me, well, let's see what he's... Let's see, what's Vakari? It is our humble village. He points east. It is that way, not far. I should tell him a Shaper has come at last. It is humble and small, but with no Shapers around, we did what we could. There are no Shapers here? Timo looks even more nervous now. I do not know. No, you are the only one. You are the Shaper. You have returned, and we can serve. He seems somewhat reticent about saying the last part. Although you may not be a Shaper, but a Guardian or Agent, all three sects are generally referred to by the outside world as Shapers. Yeah, we are playing as a Shaper, properly speaking, but yeah, if you play as a Guardian or Agent, they're also called Shapers generally, even though within the Shaper world, within the Shaper order, they are called Guardians and Agents. So this game and this whole series is really heavily role-play dependent, decisions, and your decisions really do impact things. And so how do we say? So we could say, that's right, you had better serve me or you'll be disciplined harshly. Or, so maybe we're like kind of a chauvinistic Shaper where we believe the party line. We really bought into it. We know those serviles that they're good for one thing, and that's for freaking polishing boots. Or we say, I do not require your total obedience. Or I do not require your total obedience. I only need to leave this island. So now, that might be, I think that's a more realistic line, because we have no idea where we are. And you have to remember, we're just a brand new Shaper apprentice. We're not well schooled in Shaperdom. We're not powerful by any stretch of the imagination. We're not used to being obeyed by anybody. In fact, we are. And right now, we just want to get out of here. So I'm going to say, and I think you can probably tell where I'm going with this things, but if you know anything about Geneforge, but we're going to go with the second. I think it's just more reasonable than what someone who's lost and weak like us would say. And besides, we don't even know how do we know who's servile? Maybe these serviles really do belong to some Shaper. I don't know. Or maybe they're powerful and strong, although that would not be what we're used to. Timo looks incredibly relieved. Whoa, Of course, we serviles would be glad to help you in any way. It is our way, and we thank you, mighty Shaper, for your kindness. Well, seems very friendly, or at least polite. Let's ask another question. I've been stranded on this island, and how do I get off? He looks worried. He clearly has no idea. Oh, I am a humble villager, and I do not know how to leave. But in Valkyria, there are old and wise people. They can help you. But that is odd. Timo is referring to his fellow serviles as people. Creations are called creations, not people. Wow, aren't you freaking Shapers pleasant? But that says something. Do you know why this island was abandoned? I have no idea. You should go to Valkyrie. There are many there wiser than me. I should go there now. They should know that there is a Shaper among us. Alright, cool. Alright, well, thanks, Timo. He's like looking at us, looking at our Fiora. Like, alright, cool. I'm gonna go warn everybody that, Shapers here. Be in your best manners. Oh, wait. Here's his orcs. He has a nice little herd of orcs. This is the end of the tutorial section. Now you can travel east of Valkyrie and start learning more about what has been happening on Sucia Island, and hopefully begin to find your way off of it. Alright, well, I think I'm going to call that quits for today. Oh, look at that. We got into the dock rooms. We've received a grip of experience. Let's see how much experience we have. Okay, so each experience level takes 1,000 experience. So we're at 764, so we're 3/4 of the way, basically. So pretty good, pretty good. Finally, you can get complete instructions for Geneforge without quitting the game by pressing the Tab key to indicate the instructions button at the lower right corner of your screen. Have fun. Alright, I will. Thank you very much. And that's going to be it for today. Thank you for joining me on this episode of my Geneforge Let's Play here on my channel Idle Wisdom. Take care, y'all.